Good afternoon, good day. It's Simon from Driving Spirit with my front-facing camera and reverse-facing logos. But anyway, I am here today to just enjoy with you something of a boyhood favourite, actually. Transport ourselves back to 1970, and this wonderful old thing, Triumph Vitesse Mark II 2-litre. So yeah, let's get in the car and we'll have a little chat. Well, here we are in the car, and I feel like it's time to do a little bit of soul bearing. As a boy, I experienced a lot of interesting motor cars. My father was in the motor trade, and he ran an MG dealership up in the West End of London, and so we experienced in the very early 70s a number of MGBs, MGB-GTs, MGCs, and in fact my father, John Day, was instrumental in the University Motors MG specials, and I believe instrumental in helping to make MGCs into the car that they should have been, to make them handle better, to make them go better. MGCs had a straight six engine, which I believe was from Wolseley, and they tended to, I think, understeer. They tended to not handle too well. They didn't have such sharp handling as the MGBs, and I'm, as I understand it, my father was instrumental as the sales manager of University Motors in Conduit Street in London. He was involved with the Downton tuning conversions and one or two interesting bodywork conversions for MGCs, and sold them to various famous people, including I have a picture in the first book that I wrote, Finding the Driving Spirit, of an MGC outside the showroom being taken by Robin Knox Johnson, the round the world yachtsman. I was very used to British Leyland products, and British Leyland get a tough rap these days, in terms of, you know, historically their build quality, but nevertheless there were some very interesting cars, and I experienced most of them as an impressionable petrol head little boy. So my father would come home in the aforementioned MGs, but sometimes there'd be a Rover V8 or a Jaguar XJ6 or Daimler Sovereign, E-Type Jaguar V12 on one occasion. Very often some very interesting cars came home, and then on one occasion a Jensen FF, I think it was, or certainly an Interceptor, but I think it was an FF, came home, 6.3 litre V8 behemoth. Anyway, as a boy I used to get so uncomfortable and embarrassed when I would hear a car that wouldn't start. Now, I don't know what that was all about. It was usually something like a Ford. I remember a neighbour with a Ford Cortina, which I don't know whether it was the car or the neighbour's wife, but she never seemed to manage to start the car in the mornings, and never quite got the starting right. And I was, especially as she sometimes took my brother and I to school with her sons, it was yeah, it was cringe making for me. What I loved, one of the things I loved was every car Dad brought home would always start immediately in the mornings, and so no such embarrassment until one morning when he was involved with Jensen's, and a Jensen Interceptor failed to start, and that was the ultimate humiliation. This beautiful car that just wasn't interested on that particular morning. So yeah, what a weird thing. And sometimes I still to this day get that slight sort of discomfort if I'm near a car and it won't start. Anyway, we're going to do a cold start on this Triumph Vitesse, and then we're going to take it for a run. So I'm going to again chop the camera around, and you can observe the technique, and we just hope that this this Vitesse will behave itself very nicely and start straight away. It has got electronic ignition, which we fitted, so it should be fine. So first off, we identify the choke lever, which is this one here. Pull that out. Turn the key. We're not going to employ any accelerator at this point. We're just going to turn the key and hope for the best. Now, I loved these straight six Vitesses. I wasn't terribly interested in Heralds, but the sound of one of these, and all the six-cylinder Triumphs, used to sound wonderful to me. There we go, beautiful. And as it starts to 8-stroke, we'll push the choke in until it's comfortable. Quite a way in. Twin Stromberg carburetors, and there it is. Lovely, full of promise. I'm going to put the roof up, and then we're going to take it for a drive. I'll put the roof up because the weather's not looking too wonderful, but that wouldn't stop me, but mainly because I don't want the wind rush to steal from the lovely sound of this 6-cylinder engine. Okay, so we're ready to set off and just take the car around our usual test route. Choke right in, I think. One thing I have noticed about these old Triumphs is they're quite wobbly, but actually already that sound is taking me back down memory lane to my childhood. Not that we ever really had a Triumph, but occasionally there were neighbours who did, and it was always a really reassuring sound. A lovely silky straight six engine and quite barky exhaust. Quite a boom from it. Bit of gearbox whine, which is very pleasant. I'm not purporting to be an expert on Triumphs, far from it. I know relatively little about them, but I do know that I love the engine, and what I can tell you, of course, is that Triumph were styled in the main by an Italian stylist called Michelotti, and that made their designs stand out from the rest very much. He was quite an avant-garde designer, and that's why Triumphs really did look so different from other cars of the era. They came from the Standard Motor Company, I believe. It became Standard Triumph. And in fact, when we worked on the Overdrive, oh yes, we'll explore the Overdrive in a moment, when we worked on the overdrive of this car, just to make it work properly on third gear, you could see standard Triumph marks on the gearbox. So the overdrive on this car works in third and fourth gears. So I'm in third now. I'll wait, I'll get up into fourth. And then we've got this little switch here, and I'll engage the overdrive. There it goes, and brings the revs down. So it's an extra gear, and it works with third and with fourth, but not in first and second. So again, we'll go into third, and now we'll flick up the overdrive and down and into fourth. We've got quite a bit of wind noise, quite a bit of body shake, the doors shaking around a little bit, the wing mirrors are shaking around on the bonnet. This, I think, is quite typical of this kind of Triumph from the era, the Herald and the Vitesse, and probably the Spitfire as well, I've no doubt, although I've never driven one. Love to drive a GT6. The panel gaps are pretty much in the Citroën DS territory, very vague, but it's a joy. 4-speed gearbox plus that overdrive, and that lovely harmony of the gearbox and the 6-cylinder engine and its barky exhaust. Wipers are here. That's right. Well, we'll use those. There we go. Oh, they've stopped. Okay, another thing to look at. Wipers need fixing, it seems. Well, we'll fix those. Van man going for a head-on collision. I compare the Vitesse with a 1970 car from Citroën, the ride and the handling is archaic in comparison to the sharpness of the Citroën suspension on all cars, whether hydropneumatic or not, of the era. And now there'll be a reverse available to us now. So the ride, yeah, very imprecise. The steering, very imprecise in comparison with Citroën. This was quite typical of the British motor industry and motorcycle industry, actually. But it has, you know, it's got so much charm with the engine, and its unique styling, certainly very appealing to many. And I understand, I get it. I get why people would choose one of these. And so, acquaintance with a boyhood hero. What do I think? I think let's not compare it with a Citroën, but it's charming, it makes a lovely noise, and it's a very enjoyable drive if you allow for its limitations in terms of dynamic ability. Triumph Vitesse Boyhood revisited. This is Simon from Driving Spirit. Have a blessed day, and until the next video, please consider liking and subscribing, because people say it's good. So please do like and subscribe to the channel, and who knows what's going to be next. Bye for now.